I was in the hallway and saw a patient walking down the hallway with his family. Everybody's crying, and found out from one of the doctors that that man had been in a wheelchair for years before we came, and now he's running down the hallways.
A lot of these patients came with really no hope other than this as being the solution for their joint pain. In Canada, yes, we have waits, yes, we have delays, but patients expect that eventually they will receive their care and that they will receive a high level of care when they do so. That really isn't the expectation of a lot of people in the developing world. They just don't have access to it, and many of these patients had been suffering for 5 or 10 years and could have been candidates for surgery many years ago.
From my perspective, it gives me great satisfaction and pleasure to be able to do something that really is fairly easy for me to do, to put in a hip or a knee replacement, that changes their life so profoundly. So that gives me great satisfaction.
He would need to buy new pants because now all of his pants are not going to fit him because he's taller and his legs are a little longer.
Sinceramente, pues les digo, y con el corazón en mi mano, que he vuelto a nacer de vuelta. Porque, como les digo, yo me sentía aislado.
So he's just really grateful because it was a really difficult time for him before.
In Nicaragua, you don't walk, you don't move. There's really no other option for them.
First of all, it meant pain relief. Secondly, it meant that they could work. A lot of their jobs aren't sitting at a desk or easy jobs. They're physical, manual labor. They're out in the field. They're bending for crops.
It doesn't bring you down to that sort of base reality of eating or not eating here. When you get a hip problem or osteoarthritis in your knee or whatever, I mean, it isn't sort of the difference between poverty and your basic quality of life.
And that's probably the most difficult part, who gets chosen and who doesn't get chosen. We live in a fantastically privileged society, and there's an opportunity to go back and give something back to a community that already has no access. I think also it builds our team. We go down there as a team of individuals, and we come back as a really strong surgical team. And I work with those people every day, and now they know me a little better. I know them a little better, and I think it's good for our Concordia team. I think we're all stronger as a result of these trips.
When you're faced with something like that and you don't see any hope because there's no way you could afford implants, that will change your life. Never mind finding a surgeon, finding a hospital, all those things. There's no way you could have access to that. So I'm sure over there it's a miracle.
Turn around. Turn around.
One of the gentlemen we had severe bilateral knee joint disease, and his disease had evolved over at least 10 years. So he was completely disabled. And I watched that gentleman come in, and he was assisted by his 2 daughters. He could not walk. He came with 2 canes. They pretty much dragged him into the consulting room. And he really was unable to ambulate, and his legs were incredibly bowed. We looked at his knees and thought, this is not going to be easy surgery. We got to get both these legs straight at the same operation. He said, no, I have all the trust in you, and God will take care of me. But he said, the one thing you're going to do is you're going to make me good looking again. You're going to make me straight. It was so cool. If he'd been left, he would have lost his ability to walk. Within another year, he would have been in a wheelchair, and he would have stopped walking completely.
Okay.
Muy bien. Good job. Sorry, No, it's okay. Okay. It's okay. Business.
Nicaragua is, it's mountainous. And so many of these people live in villages, and I'm sure one's village was not flat by any stretch. So they got to go up and down stairs and, up and down hills, and you try and do that in a wheelchair or with crutches or with a walker, it's a whole different ballgame. And to see that gentleman 2 days after surgery stand up with straight legs and walk in the recovery area was just amazing.